There's a 8 million allocated for the building of a recycling facility. And I asked the question, when is that going to be built? Where is that going to be located? And I got the answer saying that, Natalie, you don't have to believe everything you read.
What's good, my people? It's your boy Mystelics, and we're back again for another BrBpTV podcast. Welcome, brothers and sisters. I know it's been a long time coming. We actually did the previous one that, of course, is none other than the original King Dice. That was a fabulous one, no doubt about it. But we are back here in Dominica for yet another vibe, brothers and sisters. And, of course, we have a special guest today. And, of course, Natalie is in the building. Who is Natalie? She's known as the Green Lady. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's been a long time coming when you come down to come to Portsmouth.
No. I come regularly to Portsmouth.
Regular?
Yeah.
I always ask people this question. What do you think of Portsmouth as a whole?
I think right now, for 15 years I'm in Dominica, right?
15. Wow. Okay.
15. And right now I think Portsmouth have more vibration than Roseau.
Okay.
Yes. So if you want to party, like more in between big events. Portsmouth have vibes.
So you tend to come to Portsmouth to party? Yes. Is that something that you tend to do?
Yes, I'm doing that. I have some friends here, so...
Okay. In Portsmouth, Picard, where exactly?
Portsmouth
Central. Okay. And you mentioned something interesting. You stated that you have been in Dominica for 15 years,
correct,
which means you're not Dominican.
Moved to Dominica in 2010. I was pregnant at the time and was looking like everybody for a job, you know. And I've been around, and what surprised me the first when I moved to Dominica is that, you go into the Green Island, you go into the Nature Island. It's market outside like this. And when I reached and I saw the city of Roseau and the littering, and even in the forest you can find garbage everywhere, and I'm like, wow, this is not what is sold outside.
So you saw something different from what you...
So I saw something different, but I was looking for a job, and I'm like, you know what can I do? I'm pregnant, I want to take the time to raise my daughter, but I also want to work, so what can I do to join both? And then from St. Martin, I was using biodegradable product already, and I'm like, but this is the Green Island and we don't have that. So let me try to start and sell those things. So it took me a few years, like 2 or 3 years. And then I started importing some stuff. And my first client was in Portsmouth.
In Portsmouth?
In Portsmouth.
Okay.
My very first client who encouraged me was in Portsmouth.
Okay.
And then I grew, and then I went to the government and say, hey, is it a possibility you can waive the duties on those products because it's the way to go? And I start talking to Ministry of Trade and Director of Trade. And then my business grew a little at the time. And then in 2019, we reached the ban of plastic. First of January.
I remember that,
And then competition came, and everybody is supposed to use biodegradable single-use plastic for now. I guess.
So what do you really do? You mentioned you have been participating in a number of things in Dominica when it comes down to nature aspect, but what do you really do?
I advocate a lot for using those biodegradable products because they are compostable as well. So, which in a way you're supposed to have less garbage at your home because all those products you can compost them in your backyard. So meaning less waste collection, less waste in the landfill, less pollution in the sea. You know, we are natural, we have to protect ourselves, but we have to protect our waters too. We have a blue economy ministry and a green ministry economy now. And we have a well sanctuary. So if we protect them in the sea, it starts by the land. Yeah,
the land, that's true.
I'm trying to do.
You mentioned the whales. Have you gone out to at least see the whales?
Yes, I went to see the whales on a boat. I haven't been swimming with them yet.
So you want to?
I want to. I really want to. Yes.
How important do you think that the whales are for Dominica? I mean, what you do is in biodegradable, which of course is conserving nature, the natural aspect of Dominica. How important do you think it is to conserve the whales? I mean, the whales are out there. They're nice to see and stuff. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they're nice to see and stuff, but that's a mammifer that we have to secure. You know, you don't want that to disappear from the earth. That's one. Two, you have some countries that chase them like crazy for their fat, for their meat, for their thing. And again, if the quantities on earth diminish, then what's gonna happen? And then for Dominica self, it's a marketing exposure.
Tourism.
It's a marketing exposure. It's a market. It's a $free market marketing for Dominica. You have that, then people gonna come just for that experience.
We always have the thought process of, okay, we need to utilize certain things. We need to utilize the whales for certain aspects. But what about the whales themselves having their own sort of sanctuary? Do you think Dominica is a sanctuary for the whales?
Well, with the SETI program, they created that. I think it's the first in the world. Let's see how it's going to be managed. But for tourism purposes, it can be only a benefit for Dominica.
But I also look at when people go out there on the tourist boats and they have the oils and stuff in the engines. So do you think that would affect it as well? I mean, we are tourists trying to make money to go to see them, but...
Well, there's no electrical boat right now. I wish there is, but maybe one day we'll come to green boats or solar boats. That's
so you think that would be a way for Dominica to go forward?
Well, if we want to go, we could go green full speed and be the first island fully green. And that's a marketing product on its own as well, you know? But we need to have some
people, I guess, come together.
Some wish and some will for the country and some direction to go.
But do you think that going green, I mean, your very essence is 100% green, and it's not just plastic, it's fantastic. That's something that you tend to say. And looking at Dominica, do you think Dominica has the potential to do it and the capability? Because one thing is having the potential, but then the other thing is having the capability. What do you think about that?
No, if you want to do it, you can do it. Like, if you want to go the same way you want to go chemical free for the soil, right? You're gonna say your farmers, no more chemicals because we want to be an organic island, which go with the 100% green.
Yeah,
it's just a will. Again, you want to do it, we can do it, and the people will follow because you're going to show them the direction. You're going to tell them why it's good for you and for the future. There's no reason they say no.
Do you have any sort of advice that you can potentially give to actually make that a reality? I think Dominica is the nature of the Caribbean. That's something we know that we should be doing a long time ago. What advice would you want to give to individuals out there who are in charge of this?
Go full speed. Go full speed or don't go. Because we cannot have the ban from the 1st of January 2019 for a specific kind of product and not having the other one. Like, we stopped the single-use plastic for food, but we didn't stop the grocery bag.
Yeah, that's something I was going to point out as well.
And I mean, that for me makes no sense. It was supposed to be 6 months after, but it never happened.
Yeah.
So why the hold up?
Could it be because it might be a little more expensive though?
It is, but we know that already. But certain stores play the game and import biodegradable ones. And then, because the plastic was still in circulation, so why spending more when you can spend less? So they stopped. And I understand that. But that was not supposed to be the plan.
Now, talking about the expense of doing this, I know one of the things that you definitely tend to do is to utilize nature for your products. I mean, we have a number of products of yours right there. In fact, let's actually play a video right there of your stuff to give the people an idea of what you tend to do right there. Let's play it. 100% green. I'm not gonna lie, some of the products kind of look like they're not really 100% green, especially the things that look like plastic. Can you give us a little understanding in that regard right there?
Okay, the plastic has several categories, right? The number one is PET. That's what we know as the plastic bottles. And then you have different category up to category 7. And the 7 is other plastic, meaning the biodegradable plastics. And usually it has the triangle with the number in it. And below it has to say which type of plastic it is. And for what I'm promoting, they made from cornstarch and is number 7 PLA, polylactic acid, which means cornstarch in scientific name.
It's kind of like the vegan version of plastic then.
It's yeah. And the good thing about it is you can compost it in your backyard.
Yeah. That kind of helps the soil as well. Does it provide nutrients for the soil?
It's cornstarch going back to the soil. So on the boxes it says go in a composting facility. You know, because people usually lives in the big countries, the big cities, and they have warm weather or cold weather and stuff. But in Dominica, with the heat we have and the moisture we have, if you have your compost already for your grass, your leaves, your food waste, your kitchen waste, you can incorporate that in it, and you're gonna see it's gonna start to melt and it's gonna start to deteriorate.
As you saying that there, the thought of garbage collection comes to mind.
Serious topic.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it comes down to picking up garbage, and man, that is a whole other story right there. But in the United States, they tend to have different trucks picking up different things. They have the recycling materials and they have the actual garbage stuff. Do you think that's something that Dominica needs to adopt?
Well, we should have adopted that for years. But seeing the situation of the Dominica Solid Waste Corporation financially and equipment, I mean, it's not doable right now. It's not doable.
But I think that would have solved a number of problems when it comes on to our
I mean, there's different solution. Seeing the actual situation, what could be done, and I talked to them about that, is the compost, instead of being done in your backyard, you can do it as a village, as a community. You know, with a palette of block, you can create a location, and the NEP can be in charge of that. Like as well, they cut in trees, they cut in plants, they cut in grass, they can put that there. The villagers can bring their kitchen waste in that. And you create your own compost and your own fertilizer for your community and reuse it for the community.
But what about the individuals that don't feel like they should go the extra mile? I think compost is something that should be used for agriculture, farmers, these type of people. How is it benefiting to the normal folk though, to do such a thing?
I think everybody has a plant at home, or trying to grow their save or their lettuce in their balcony, even those living in town, on their roofs. We have some people trying to grow lettuce on their roofs. You can reuse it like that.
And you think it'll be better to actually do that? Like you have banana peels, you have a number of things. But when it comes on to utilizing the right set of fertilizers, so to speak, would that affect
fertilizer?
Yeah, I mean, you have the banana peels, it goes back, it gives the soil nutrients, a number of things. Would that affect it in any way, or people just put anything together and make it compost and just...
you can compost everything together.
Okay.
Does no matter. And on top of it, we're living in an island subject to natural catastrophe. Right? So last time we had Maria, we lost a lot of topsoil.
That's true.
So doing our compost helped recreate the topsoil.
What would you say to encourage individuals to do it? Because it's one thing where you say that's a good idea, people might want to have their fruits and, you know, create these little not vegetables in their yard and stuff, but what would you say to encourage them? Because I mean, sometimes that can be a tasking task.
No, if you do it at a small scale, it's not tasking. You just put everything in one place, you shuffle it a little bit, you mix it, you know, and wait, basically. So it's not a big task. But the first visual thing we can see about that is if you stop throwing all those kitchen waste and stuff in your mixed garbage, right? It's not gonna smell. It's not gonna leak. It's not gonna attract rodents.
The compost won't attract rodents.
The compost will be in one side, but your garbage gonna become a dry garbage. And when you put it outside, there's no leaking, so the dogs will not go into it. Less rat in town, or so it's gonna be a proper waste collection also for the people doing that, because they always find open bags, and you see all of that on the side of the road. I mean,
but do you think the reason why they don't do it is because Dominica doesn't have the machinery to cater to these things? Do you think Dominica actually needs that though?
You don't need machinery to start doing something. You don't need machinery to do compost, your own compost.
But to pick up the normal garbage that is not compost, I mean, sometimes you go around Roseau and it's quite dirty.
It's quite dirty because there's no container for that. You know, we everybody tell them, put that in below that post, that day we're gonna collect that. So why should I do something else? I mean, but I don't think we have any space in town to put any garbage section collection, you know? We don't have bathroom already, so.
That's another thing right there. That's a good point. I think we need to handle that one for sure, definitely. DPP. But no, as you mentioned about collection, I remember seeing on Bayfront there is actually some green beans. It mark recycle on it.
Okay, there's bins with 3 holes.
Yeah.
To collect recycle. Have you looked at them?
Yeah, and what's the point of that in the first place, though?
No, it's a good point. If the collection was done every 15 minutes, because people put in everything in any hole, and the holes are big so, and the KFC boxes are big so.
Yeah.
So already you cannot put your garbage in it. So what the people just throw them next to it.
So what is the point of this bin in the first place? Because it marks recycle on it. From my understanding, especially when it comes on to recycle, you put recycled material in there, but it seems like people don't really care about putting recycled material. They put whatever they want, especially if they're done with it. They put it inside this thing. Do you understand or know the point why this was done?
The point would be nice if there will be an education going with it, like saying going door to doors, going to the schools, and say this is what we have now. This is what you should do now.
So
tell them why. Tell them what you have to do and why. Because we're going to collect that. We're going to collect and build them and ship them outside and get money out of it. Maybe. Like we do for the batteries, for example. They collect them, they ship it outside, they get a little money out of it. Fine.
As you're talking about shipping, I remember that there was supposed to be some sort of boat that was supposed to come into Dominica to collect iron. I think it was, and that was just after Hurricane Maria.
I remember they had a collection for all the old wrecks and around the island.
Yeah, was that something that actually happened? Because even if you pass in Point Wrong area, you will see that there's still some.
Well, yes, yeah. I think it came. To say it collected everything, I'm not sure.
Well, apparently it didn't collect everything. I mean, Vine is going over the thing, and they actually crushed it. I think they put it in squares and they just left
crushed it and put it in Gamian basket kind of shape. So yeah,
do you know if they're coming back for it or something of that sort? Okay. Who do you think is in charge of that though?
Dominica Solid Waste.
So they're not really doing their job.
I mean, they we can say they're not doing their job. And knowing the situation, I know they're doing what they can with what they have.
Yeah.
It's never enough. They never do enough, and they never have enough. So.
But I mean, as I'm thinking here, I'm thinking of the situation involving the solid waste themselves. We have garbage collection problems. We have these problems. We have that problems. I mean, maybe you don't know. I don't know. But what can be done to solve or at least alleviate these issues?
After Maria, the CCRP has been written, the 2020-2030 CCRP, right? The plan,
the CCRP.
That's the plan for Dominica to recover from Maria that has been presented at the UN, I guess, and I looked at it, right? And in the environmental aspect, which is what I'm concerned in, there's 8 million allocated for the building of a recycling facility.
Wait, 8 million EC, 8 million US?
EC.
EC, okay.
And I asked the question, when is that going to be built? Where is that going to be located? And I got the answer saying that, Natalie, you don't have to believe everything you read.
So what's the point of saying it?
So I'm like, yeah, is that just to be nice in front of everybody? Or? But, and how many years after Maria and nothing happened, so...
That's the thing with me. I like to see action when people say words, especially the individuals who are in charge of Dominica, so to speak, the leaders, the authority figures. When they say something, I expect something to follow through with it. And we are the nature island of the Caribbean. We characterize ourselves as the nature island of the Caribbean. I personally don't think that Dominica is the nature island of the Caribbean, because if you travel around the Caribbean, places like, you mean South America, places like Jamaica, Cuba, these places there, they are filled with nature. So if we can characterize ourselves as the nature isle of the Caribbean, I think something else should follow, not just on the understanding of saying, oh, we have a lot of greenery around. I mean, I personally also look at medication in that aspect as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I know we had some researchers came and study the, how you call that again?
The herbs?
No, the top of the rainforest. The rainforest. Okay, the primary rainforest. To find every plant that nowhere else has and make medication out of it. I'm like, yes. Where's the outcome?
How long ago?
What happened? Well, the aerial tram was still working at the time.
The who?
The aerial tram.
The aerial tram.
The aerial tram was still working at the time. So before Maria.
Okay.
You know, my daughter was maybe 2 and she's 14. So you see?
That's 12 years ago.
Yeah. Wow, and we never heard about no outcome about that. Because if we have to grow those plants there, go ahead.
Yeah. And to actually utilize it in the medical field. I mean, that's part of being natural. That's part people of being natural. In the nature isle of the Caribbean. So what is really the point of calling the nature isle of the Caribbean the nature isle of the Caribbean?
I would love to give back the big wings of the N for nature to Dominica. I would have to help. It's not me alone, but...
Even with the consideration, we have Antigua. Antigua, I think, last year was considered the nature of the Caribbean.
Yeah, never heard that. You sure? That's shocking.
Because I think they did that on the merit of the amount of eco-tourists that were going to Antigua. More went to Antigua than in Dominica. I think that's where they took it.
Well, an eco-tourist or an eco-site or an eco-lodge is eco... But it depends on what you call eco.
I think Antigua just have beaches.
Like some hotels in Dominica have a green label and they're still using plastic forks. They're still using plastic garbage bags. I mean, what do you need to be really green?
I feel you for sure. No, I saw some other products of yours. Well, I think there's quite a number of them right there, as I can show the people right there. As you've seen on the screen, it's not just about recycling or biodegradable, but also utilizing certain things in nature. Can you explain to us what is on the screen right there? Or just give us a synopsis of what is on the screen?
So those products are 100% made from plants.
First of all, before you continue, are the bottles made of plastic or are they made of...
Okay, so the goal with that supplier is that you buy the bottle first and then you buy the pouch, the refill pouch. So the refill pouch use less plastic, less energy, less
That's
water.
The bags at the back?
The bags are at the back.
Okay.
So they use less plastic, less energy and less water to produce. And they can refill 4 times the bottles.
Okay.
So those products are made 100% from plants. They're made in the US. And
the products in the bottles.
The products in the bottle are made in the US. All the products that are involved in the recipe are available online. There's a total transparency of what's in it. And it's right now is the #1 seller on Amazon.
Okay. So what I'm getting from you is that these bottles are actually plastic.
Correct.
The refilling. So instead
Because
of
they're reusable.
Okay. And then the products that are being put into these plastics are natural. Okay. In the future, are they going to be the plastic bottles? Are they going to be turning into
What they turn into right now is put them in a can, because can is aluminium and aluminium is recyclable.
Yeah.
Easier than plastic. So, and it's moving away from oil. So step by step, they're gonna switch to can.
Is oil necessarily a bad thing?
Oil's coming from the earth.
And the earth is natural, is it natural?
Yeah, but it's what you do with it.
Okay. I guess the byproduct of it.
You're doing plastic, but you're doing gas for vehicles, and that's polluting too. You're doing tires, which is a big polluter as well.
I think as we're talking about oil, I think what can work, and correct me if I'm wrong in that, what can work is Dominica maybe having a melting facility for these things and then making new products from it. I think certain parts in Africa, that's what they tend to do.
I don't think we have the volume for that, because once you have a factory, you need to produce.
Yeah.
And I don't think we could collect enough plastic to have the factory running all year long.
Okay.
So it's a big investment.
Okay.
So it's best to start collect and send to the factory that can do it.
Okay. All right.
Because people are buying. There's brokers that are buying those things. They're buying plastic bottles. They're buying cardboard. They're buying oil. They're buying batteries. They're buying zinc. They're buying copper. So,
but that will be another way for Dominica to make money. We send it to the companies, and they do whatever they do.
That's why Solito is starting to collect bottle in some places. They
do that in the schools, yeah.
They bail it, and then once they have a full 20-foot container, they can ship it out and get some money out of it.
Yeah, I think the schools started doing that, because I remember I have a family member that works in education, and she stated that they're collecting bottles. I see her with some plastic bottles. What are you doing with this stuff? She told me the schools are collecting the bottles. I think that is a good way to start.
We had an NGO in the north that was collecting the bottle caps.
The caps, why?
The caps, because we were shredding them, melting them, and doing key rings out of it.
Key rings? Oh, key rings. Okay.
Dominica key rings.
Okay.
And stuff. And the NGO has been created after Maria and closed like 3 or 4 years ago.
It wasn't
lack of funding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but they had a competition in the school in Portsmouth for the kids to bring the most bottle cap, and parents were crying because the kids were going in the fridge, opening the unopened bottles to bring more caps.
That's interesting.
So
that's okay. I think they probably need to do it again, though. I mean, if the kids are involved, that kind of teaches them, to be involved in recycling or just throwing away the materials that need to be thrown away properly. Managed properly.
But that would take a generation for the mentalities to change.
Generation. That's something else. But at least starting at the preschools or primary schools.
We have to start at preschool, so it's taking a generation.
Yeah.
Because the people who have their habits now will be.
But it has stopped now. It has stopped, so that means that ideology is going out the window. Because I know in places like China, they tend to teach them all sorts of things when they're young. So as they're growing up, and it's consistent throughout their entire life. But if it's not consistent,
should be. We should have something in the curriculum called maybe eat what you grow what you eat, or environmental in a big umbrella, And we talk about recycling, about waste management, about growing farming, what we have on the island that we have to keep.
Yeah. Talking about what's on the island, are some of the products that you put there, are they sourced from Dominica? Are they made in Dominica? No. Are the materials collected in Dominica? And then okay. So
that's something. When I created my company, I went to ministry to say, hey, can we do that maybe through the CBI at the time? interest investors to have a manufactory here, use the bagasse that we can grow here, or the bamboo or the thing, and I didn't see no interest. I didn't see no interest at the time. So I doing my little thing.
So even if they consider this to be the nature isle, utilizing the products that Dominica, or the resources that Dominica have, they apparently don't seem to be interested in it. That's interesting. And these are things you can use. Some of the materials that are in the bottles, the products, do you think that they can be sourced in Dominica?
Oh, well, we have body wash here. One of the items is body wash. We have a lot of soaps maker in Dominica. They're making fabulously quality items. But it's bar. It's not liquid. Why not trying to make it liquid? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's possible. I don't know how to make a soap.
Yeah.
But I'm saying one of the scent that I have is vanilla. We have vanilla on island.
Yeah.
For the hand gel is cucumber and mint. We have
definitely
cucumber.
have cucumber.
We can have mint. I mean, why not?
Okay, so we seen a number of products on the screen right there. This is that baby shampoo.
That's
body
the
wash
baby line. Yeah.
What is in it? Can you give us a little?
The composition
yeah.
of the product? No, I don't have the names because it's the scientific names. So I don't know the names.
Okay, but it's made naturally.
But it's made from plants, 100%.
Okay, plants. Okay, plant based.
So for babies, but also for adults who have sensitive skins, there's no hash of chemicals. There's so it's
as you say that there, it's people tend to have varying issues. You know, medical. I mean, we're talking about medical using herbs and stuff, but apparently that's not the goal for Dominica. But when it comes on to certain products, I mean, I see a number of things on the shelf, and they have a lot of chemicals that can be harmful to humans. I mean, why do we have them in Dominica in the first place?
When we have something natural, like deodorant, for example, right? All the deodorant we import have aluminum salt in it. Aluminum salt can cause breast cancer.
Yep, that's true.
And we have a super nice lady located in Salisbury. Her name is Terry, and she's making natural deodorant from beeswax. And the company is Be Natural, and she has the perfect natural product for you. It's not harsh, and it won't give you cancer.
Imagine, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Really?
Yeah, the very first time.
Awards in the Caribbean everywhere. And
but why?
First time you hear
and the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not being promoted in Dominica. She might have the product, she might be selling it a number of places, but it's not being pushed. I mean, when you have things like World Creole Music Festival, you know, I mean, the people are looking at what Dominica has. I think that would be a nice place to push it.
I think she was there.
In the stand, but we're talking about the pushing of the product itself. She
had a table.
I'm sure she most likely had to pay to come inside there in the first place.
Yes.
You see, so if we're trying to push ourselves as a nature island in the Caribbean, I mean, everybody needs to be involved, not just saying, oh, we are the nature island in the Caribbean, come and see what we have. And then people have the natural stuff, have to come in, pay their money, hopefully they get some sales, and then that's it. I mean,
you know the budget to be a sponsor at Creole Festival, right?
No, I don't.
It's unaffordable for a small business.
Why is that?
Because they have their figures with this premium sponsor and golden sponsor and silver sponsor, and there's no space for this small one.
But that kind of looks like it's at odds at the local people, though. I mean,
why is only the big corporate that can afford that?
I'm thinking. Sometimes I go quiet. I'm thinking to myself, like, what can be done though to solve these problems? Because the local people are trying their best to do something that is natural, based in the nature isle, but we're not necessarily seeing that reflective when it comes on to especially the festivals or jazz and Creole. We're not really seeing these kind of things, and that's kind of sad though. But of course, we have your products there as well. They have a number of things. Have you ever sourced? I mean, you mentioned things like cucumber. Have you personally sourced with cucumber farmers and to try to get some of that ingredient into the product?
Well, I'm not a lab person, so I don't know the chemistry behind it. So it's not something I want to go in it.
So that's something Dominica actually lacks again.
Well, that's something we could produce in Dominica for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well.
We have brilliant doctors overseas. They're not in Dominica, so.
That's true. That's unfortunate, but hey.
Yes,
so you have is this baby shampoo, body wash, refill,
stain remover, laundry detergent.
On this thing right there. Oh, this is laundry. Okay, laundry detergent.
And the laundry detergent.
Okay. And then this one is
that's
shampoo.
For shampoo and conditioner. Dry shampoo and conditioner.
Do you think that people with scalp issues, these things would be good for them?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Is there a baby one inside there as well, or this
on
is
the other
on the
picture,
previous one?
Yes, you had
body
wash and shampoo.
Okay. And then this one.
This one is the body wash and the gel hand soap.
The hand gel soap?
The hand gel soap.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the difference in using this product versus the other normal product?
The chemicals.
The chemicals in there? Is there any cancer-related thing in there? Do you think that
there can always be with cancer with chemicals, you know?
But using natural pretty much avoid the understanding of it
natural
actually.
is. And then you'll see the first time you're using that, you'll see with your hands, you're like, wow. You're like,
Okay.
It's a wow. You get the wow.
Yeah. And these bags at the back.
So that's the refill for the bottles.
Okay.
Same principle.
So you buy this, instead of throwing away your bottles, you can then
use it.
Okay, I got you. And these ones, now it's not just about the products themselves, but please tell us a little bit about this, what we see on the screen.
So those brown products are made from bamboo mixed mixed with bagasse, sugarcane. Right?
And these are sourced in Dominica or overseas?
Overseas.
Okay.
So everything is made overseas.
So we have that's so you see why I'm asking you the questions in that regard.
That's why I said
we could do it, yeah.
We could produce.
But why isn't it being done though? Do you have an idea? I mean,
a manufacturer for that cost.
It comes back to the manufacturing again.
Cost a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have the mold for each shape. Costs a while, and then you need to have the green certification. For biodegradable. And you have to do that every 2 or 5 years through certain labs, and that costs a lot again.
So do all these things pass through the labs to make sure?
Yes, everything has been certified by my supplier and verified by Bureau of Standard. So actually, when I was pushing the ban of plastic and introduce those biodegradable products, I went also to Bureau of Standard saying we need a certification. We need to prove, importers need to prove that what they bring in is what they say it is. So they implement a certification. So every year you have to renew your certification and prove that all the products that you bring in are up to date in their certification.
So the point of this certification is to pretty much have your products up to standard then?
Yes.
Okay. It's not like the license in Dominica where you get your license, you know how to drive.
You have to bring all the certificates, itemize all the products per supplier, per category, and each category has a different certification that you have to.
And all this is done outside of Dominica?
No, it's not at Bureau of Standard.
Bureau of Standard. So they have the labs in?
The certification are due to the supplier, and they have to make them available to us that we can show them to Bureau of Standard.
So let me understand something. So you're saying that getting this certification in Dominica, but for you to get a certification, you have to do it overseas? Because how would they in Dominica?
It's my supplier. It's my supplier that have to prove to me that what he's selling to me is biodegradable.
And then they send it to the Bureau of Standard?
So they're giving me the proof that I show to Bureau of Standard.
Oh, and so they can't really deny anything because they're not the ones doing the testing?
Well, unless...
Do you understand why I'm going with this? So what's the point?
Unless a biodegradable product needs to be at least made of 70% of biodegradable product and can be 30% plastic. See, if you don't have this 70% biodegradable, you're not passing the standards. So if you bring in a certification that say 55, they will not accept.
Oh, but what would be the point of? I think I understand what you're saying. They don't necessarily do the testing, but they have the paperwork that shows.
That shows everything.
Okay, I get you. All right, on the screen again. These are the plastics, the level 7 plastics.
So that's. So don't call my product plastic. Plastic is a word that I don't want to use.
Yeah, it's not plastic. It's fantastic.
Plastic. So it's a cup.
Yeah.
For a cat. This is cups, right? The cups are made from cornstarch.
Cornstarch. Okay.
Cornstarch.
Okay. All local.
And they are
not local, but natural.
Highly sensitive to high temperature.
And that's another thing I was gonna ask though. What kind of products would you put in these things?
So the bagasse product on the left, you can put hot in it. Hot drinks, hot food, hot everything. The clear ones,
put cold stuff.
Cold.
Okay.
Cannot take anything above medium temperature. Like it can be a little warm, but not hot. And the storage needs to be, the storage temperature needs to be below 102 Fahrenheit, which is 32 degrees Celsius about. Yeah, even the storage is you have to pay attention to the storage. Because if the storage temperature is too high, they're not going to melt, but they're going to dry up fast. Yeah. So when you take it, it's going to break.
That's for the bagasse.
That's for the PLA, the cornstarch.
Oh, cornstarch. Okay.
Bagasse is plants. Is
no. As we're talking about the bamboo. Okay.
Bamboo bagasse mix.
Yeah. Is there a coating? I know sometimes on certain products they tend to put a coating
inside
it. There's a coating inside it?
There is a coating, but it's a bio-lining.
So it's not the normal chemical one?
It's a natural lining.
What is it called?
Bio-lining.
Bio-lining. Do you know what it's made of?
It's made of cornstarch.
Cornstarch. Oh, so it's another cornstarch material yet again. Okay. I know they tend to use, I think is it estrogen? I think they tend to use on the thing. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's some sort of thing that's linking back to the chemical or the hormone estrogen. Right? Then they talk about when it melts in the plastic, sips into the product and
in the food. Yeah,
into the food.
Correct. I don't know if it's the name, but yes.
Oh yeah. Can you microwave these things, or do you think microwave is bad?
The PLA one, you cannot microwave that. The bagasse you can.
These ones that we seen on the screen.
The brown one you can. You can freeze them and you can microwave them.
Okay. And now we have these ones now. They're the same thing. What are these for?
Oh, those are for soup.
Soup, okay.
Because they have the bio-lining in it.
Wouldn't it melt the top of the cup, the cover?
So either you have a brown cover, which can withstand hot. Yeah. Or you have a clear cover, and I suggest you use that for ice cream.
Ice cream, okay. And are these products reusable? Can you wash them and put them in your... Oh, so you just... Okay.
Because it's a fiber. The bamboo and the bagasse are fibers. So at one point they will take the substance you have in. So they will start to soften.
Yeah. But do you think in terms of actually having a product that you can reuse, maybe having a bamboo cup or something?
You can have a bamboo cup. You can use your glass container.
Yeah, the glass ones, Your
reusable plastic container.
So these are more like consumerism products?
That is single use.
Okay. I got you. So if we go and buy the ice cream shop, this might be a good thing to use right there.
Yes.
The one at the bottom, the 42 ounce, is for soup.
That is for salad.
Salads, okay. And the ones on the side, the 24 and 16.
So you have the 8, the 12, 16, 24, and the two size of 32. That's for soup.
Oh, these are the brown covers you're talking about there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, soup one.
So that's the broth size, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then we have these ones.
So that's the same cups. What's good to say about those is the straws as well that are in it.
Yeah.
President Trump says that the paper straws are exploding. So I can confirm that's not true.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it isn't.
I don't like to use, I'm not going to lie, I don't like to use these things at all.
Okay,
This paper straw stuff.
exactly. But what you have here, the white one and the two black one on the right-hand side are not made from paper. They make, and they're looking like the P word, but they are not
The
made
P word.
from P word.
Okay.
Okay, they are actually made from oyster shell.
From who?
Oyster shell.
Oyster shells. Okay.
Yeah, so they're making a plastic kind of out of the shell, and they make it straws with it.
As you mentioned that, what do you think about the conservation of the animals, though? Is that how do you source the oyster shells?
So they are sourced on the west coast of America, and they just like that on the beach. You just
So
have to
no
collect
animals are in them, nothing. Oh, so it's discarded oyster shells.
Yes,
Okay.
just the collection on the beach,
Okay.
and they have a lot.
Yeah, I was kind of like, we talk about the whales and then we're taking out the oysters. So okay, that makes sense right there. What about this small thing that we're seeing right there?
Same thing, bagasse for the brown part and PLA from the. So that is a dressing container.
Dressing.
Ketchup, mayo.
Okay, I got you. Okay. And now we have these ones right there.
So that's coffee cups.
Yeah.
Coffee
and
tea, cocoa tea, bush tea, green tea.
And these are single use.
These are single use.
Okay. Do you have any products where people can get them that are multiple use?
That's not what I do.
No. Okay. So pretty much you look to.
I targeted the single-use plastic.
Yeah.
That I didn't want to have on the island. And
okay. Is this something you might look into in the near future?
If I want to go to natural products that are reusable, it's bamboo.
Bamboo, yeah.
But bamboo is super expensive.
But we have it here. We can grow it here. One of my cousins, when he came down to Dominica, is like, you guys need to utilize bamboo because we're passing in the interior of Dominica, and there were like a lot of bamboo.
Layo River is bamboo everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, you need the equipment.
The manufacturer,
transform the
factories.
bamboo. And we have calabash. We can use calabash too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you go to the Kalinago territory, you see a number of, products being made from the calabash itself. And it's just interesting to know that Dominica has a number of, like I always say on my reaction channels, that Dominica has a number of resources that can be used and it's not being used at all. And then we are importing the stuff, things that we can actually grow. One of the things that I'm kind of sidetracking right there, we have sorrel from Jamaica here. I brought sorrel for my family.
That sounds bad.
Came from Jamaica.
That sounds bad.
And we have sorrel here. So
and we have plenty space for that.
It's a mystery to me, man. It's a mystery to me. Anyways, let's continue right there. So we have these now. Talk to us about these.
So
ones.
those are takeaway food containers made from bagasse. And so we have the 3 compartment, 1 compartment burger box. Like everybody knows, what's differentiated me from the other is I have a laminated version of all of them. Meaning the bottom is
the ones on the side right there.
The one in the middle.
Oh, the middle.
Laminated.
So
those, because in Dominica we tend to use a lot of gravy.
Right? That's what I was gonna ask you.
The regular one,
which is the one in front,
the one on the side.
The side, okay.
So they are not laminated. They will take the gravy as much as they can, but remember, this is a kind of paper made out of bamboo, so it will withstand a certain time, right? Maybe more than competition because they're thicker, but still they have their limits. Once the laminated one, you can put gravy in it, you can leave Scotch said and go to vieille case, and your container will not have moved.
Okay. Your gravy won't move,
But there is one thing that you need to do for that to happen, is not to put it in a plastic bag.
No, why?
Plastic bag and those containers are not going together, because you put hot food in those containers, right? If you put it in a plastic, the heat can create droplets of water within the bag and fall onto the paper container. and that's gonna make it get soft. Fast. And then when you open it, the food is on your feet.
So the advice is
so use paper bag.
Use paper bags. Okay.
Which is greener.
Yeah.
And will not affect your container.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a complete nonsense to put those containers in a plastic bag.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But those on the side now are.
So those are for cakes, for salad, for gifts as well. They made from bamboo as well, and they laminated.
Oh, these are bamboo made. Okay.
That's bamboo, but mixed with bagasse again.
Okay.
And they have a window or no window, so the window cannot withstand the heat.
So these are for cool.
So more for cool and cold.
Okay.
And the one with no window, we can.
Okay. Now we have these.
So these
are
plastics. No plastics. Number 7, PLA.
Hold on, let me see something. I see something. Oh, 100% green. Okay.
So all of those are used for cold food, salads, ice cream, fruit salads, or storage. You can store your nuts, your anything.
So these last longer then?
These last longer unless you put them in a close to a source of heat, a hot area. Yes.
Okay. And these on the sides can be used for?
Well, same. You have the rectangular shape, the square shape, the round shape.
Okay.
So they all have the same.
I thought this was like for juice or something.
No, juice is more the cups.
Yeah. Okay. And now we have these.
So
what are these? Flying saucers.
So these are on the left. You have all the trays that are for produce or for meat, and on the right you have pizza box, because the pizza are round, so my pizza box are round, and they also being used for by the caterers to put devil eggs or the sandwiches, the cheese straws, different use.
Okay, and these are like for like normal use, these down there,
and that's regular, the regular plates.
And these are
the meat trays. Meat and produce.
Okay. So these are supposed to last much longer if they're meat trays.
Well, there's a version that is unlaminated for the produce and a laminated version for the meat.
Are these meat trays for storage or is it for use?
For the supermarket, essentially.
Okay.
Where they put their meat and their cod fish. And
how long do you think this would last though? These ones?
When in a composted facility or in your compost, they're supposed to degrade in 180 days.
180 days,
maximum.
Okay. So there's like an expiration date on the very meat. I guess it'll help to ensure that they don't stay on the shelves.
Well, if you have meat for 180 days on the shelf, I'm not coming to your store.
I agree. And these are the pizza ones right there.
Yes.
Okay. I know these ones now.
So that is
these are not the P words.
That are not the P words. They're made from cornstarch and talc.
Talc. Okay, that's what gives them the color, the white color.
Yes, and the resistance to the heat. Yes.
These things these are
fiber.
So they're not like the normal.
So that's serving cutlery. So that long one, like for the big salad bowls that you have for catering.
Would they melt though, being in the salad?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. Well, until a point, but not for the time of your meal.
So these are not like the plastic straws, the cardboard straws that they give us.
That's not cardboard, no.
Okay, I don't like these things at all.
So I have fiber and I have GTPLA, the white one.
And then I
have bamboo forks and I have wood ice cream spoons as well.
Yeah.
And then we have wrapped toothpicks and nut picks for catering. Coffee stirrers. If you don't want to use a straw, use a coffee stirrer.
Yeah.
That's cheaper and better for the environment.
But these are multiple use, aren't they? Can use them.
Wood? No, it will take the scent of what.
But I remember growing up, my grandmother had a wooden spoon making her soup and stuff. is that kind of like the same
Depend
thing?
on the wood.
The wood.
Depend on the wood. That is
okay,
birchwood. Birchwood is very absorbent. So
Okay. Wood is probably something we can actually utilize in the near future, though.
well, we always have use. I bought a cutting board from a guy in the market made from white cedar. We have
White
people-
cedar was what's white cedar?
The white cedar,
What's that?
the tree.
The tree. Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we have people doing that, in making long spoons as well for the big pot, for the kitchens. We have people doing that, but they're just unknown, and
And that's the problem. That's the problem we have for the niche iron.
we have no window to showcase them.
What about these?
These are cake boxes or
boxes,
cakes, sweeties, gifts as well. You can put gifts.
Now, with these boxes, if you have them in the store, how long do they last?
Forever.
They last very long. Okay.
Those most of them, the one on the side, they made from cardboard. So, and the one on the
So
left,
these won't last that long.
yeah, cardboard.
Okay.
Cardboard. No issue.
They have the coating on them.
They don't need to have coating.
Okay. I guess maybe it's where they are kept. Maybe if they're in the fridge or something.
Because it's more for cakes and stuff, and cookies and.
Now, with the understanding of having cakes, sometimes people might not sell out their cakes in one day. I might want to bring them back tomorrow. How about the conservative aspect of it, where air doesn't go in? Is it sealed properly?
Well, usually when we have a big cake at home, it's on the top of the counter with an aluminium foil in it. It's not sealed properly.
And they put it in the fridge.
You can put it in the fridge, and you have to film wrap it.
Okay. So
The
you
best
see.
is film wrap it.
Okay. So you see, with this, you just wrap it to
Just
conserve
wrap
it.
it.
Okay. And then come back and okay. All right. Now the bags.
Okay, so we have paper bags for gifts, for sandwiches, for bread, for croissant, for window, no window. And then on the right-hand side, you have the reusable shopping bag made from jute.
Yes. Made from who?
Jute.
Jute.
Yes, that's the material.
What is that?
That's the fiber, the material.
Okay.
Jute. It's Jute.
Jute. Okay. I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's they were making
Close with it.
in the Middle Age.
Yeah. Also, that's kind of like bringing back.
So
a
that
sense
is
of
a natural,
fashion, so to speak.
it's a natural, long-lasting
Yeah.
fiber. So
I think
some
there was
shopping bag, because
patch-
everybody was asking for the Go Green bag that everybody got with the implementation of the ban of plastic. The government gave some through the Ministry of Tourism, I think. And everybody thought they were coming from me. So they come into me and say, hey, I want this. Well, I'm like, okay, so let me... So I have those products now for the viewers.
They can get it. Yeah.
You can get it by me.
Okay. And we have this one. These are not. Okay.
So that is a thing by itself. So on each side you have glass jars.
Okay.
Simple glass jars, because we have manufacturers on island which are small manufacturers. They cannot find their containers, and they asked me if I could carry those, because they always buy small quantities. So I do carry a certain number of glass jars for them.
And these obviously last
And
longer.
that is reusable, that is recyclable, that is infinite. The glass is infinite.
And the middle?
And in the middle those are my new products.
Cornstarch?
These are bottles for juice and different stuff, and they are made from sugarcane.
Sugarcane, okay.
Yeah, they are fully, even the lid, everything is 100%.
So if I lick it, it'll taste like sugar?
Sugarcane. You want
Sugarcane.
to taste the fiber.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you have all these things, and what I'm hearing from you is like we can actually produce some of the stuff in Dominica, and that is not happening at all. How do we get the probably you have tried, I'm not sure, but how do we get the authorities to look into this stuff? I mean, what I mean, I'm sure some of them might be watching these videos. What would you like to tell them to probably even get into it? Do they see it as profitable? What would get them to?
When I went to the ministry 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I told them if we can be the first factory in the Caribbean making just, plates from bamboo or something, then we can sell to the entire Caribbean and lead the market.
And nothing.
Maybe it's too late now.
Is it too late?
Well, we have Trinidad producing some stuff already. So they were last, but they coming back fast.
Do you think there's some sort of redemption that Dominica can take? I mean, we are the nature island of the Caribbean. Do you think there's some sort of redemption that could possibly happen for the lapse in time?
Everything can happen. Surprise me.
It'll be a surprise.
Surprise me. I would tell the government, surprise me. If that don't come from them, nobody will follow. They showing us the path for the island. Or they have to show us what their vision is while I'm waiting for the vision.
So my question here on the merit of the government, what has the government done from your understanding? Maybe they have done, maybe they haven't, who knows? But from your understanding, your experience, what has the government done in the involvement of promoting nature in the nature isle, especially when it comes down to products?
They're doing some market expo on the grounds of the headquarters once in a while, or in the fourth court once in a while. I know Dexia are promoting outside, but to which level?
You have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Because I was going to ask you, to what level are they promoting? What is? Because I find a lot of products from overseas are in Dominica. Even when you look at water, we have more foreign water in Dominica.
Yeah.
And Dominica is said to have 365 rivers. We're supposed to have 365 types of water.
You didn't see that before Maria.
Yeah.
Since Maria, yes, we have a lot of different type of water and more plastic bottles coming in.
But it's not just the water though. The products themselves as well. I remember one point in time there was an article where they were talking about tomatoes. They're saying the business places are importing tomato, and there are tomatoes in Dominica just dying. I mean,
well, there's something about that. The government has created a commission on that to see what Dexia and the farmers could do for the supermarket not to import what we can grow in Dominica. And the commission didn't go nowhere, because there's one thing they don't know is what Dominica can produce, at when, and the volume the supermarket needs. Right? I was dealing with a supermarket when I was in France. I was supermarket manager, right? If a farmer come to me tomorrow and tell me, "Ma'am, I have 100 tons of tomato, buy them for me," I would say no. And I love Dominica tomato, but I had to deal with my supplier in the US and give him 6 months in advance my volume to get a price deal. And I cannot break that down.
So it's because of the association.
So I have 6 months of volume that will come because I made a deal with a supplier. So tomorrow you want to sell to me? I would say no. But you local farmer, you cannot tell me within 6 months, I'm going to give you 100 pounds today, 100 pounds tomorrow, 100 pounds next week. Nobody can.
So you're saying the consistency is not there. That's probably why.
We don't know what we can get, and we don't know the consistency.
How do you solve that problem?
There's no calendar of production in Dominica. So you don't know what is been produced and when. And then when you plant, you wait it to grow, you harvest, and you plant again. It cannot work like that. You have to plant every week to harvest every week. Depending on the season of the product, of course, but you have to plant every week.
I remember an individual was telling me something interesting when it comes on to lettuce, lettuce. And he was saying that he plants a row of lettuce today, then he might plant another one next week, and so forth and so forth. So do you think if that ideology was adopted, a lot of the problems that we have, especially competition with foreign bodies, so to speak, would have solved?
That could be a big boost on that.
So the question is, why isn't it being done? If you're not sure of the consistency of the product, and I mean, you're just somebody that will be taking the product, but why isn't it being done?
Well, I'm not a farmer, but being in that commission, what I understood is there's no communication. Don't mind my business.
So the problem here is communication.
So there's no communication. So people don't want to know what they're making in profit. So you don't know what I'm growing.
Or could it be that they're producing in a way where if they have somebody that wants a product or wants the product, that's when they produce? Because if you're planting and nobody's buying your stuff, then you could be kind of mindful of producing.
Well, you have to get your market up
Especially
front.
people who sell in the market, they know every Saturday they come, that's when they sell their stuff. But businesses don't tend to go for them. I mean, communication is one of the aspects I think is lacking, true. But if they were able to kind of meet somewhere in that regard, I think it would have solved the problem.
It will help.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very interesting what is going on right there in Dominica. I think we have a number of aspects that we can look at when it comes on to nature and the preservatives of actually utilizing products. Not just medical, but products in itself. When it comes on to the use of the normal products, I say normal products because that's what people tend to use. I think there's sometimes certain things that affect people in ways that natural products would not. For example, we talked about cancer a while ago. What move I would have to say, well, I think it still boils down to education from the preschool and being consistent right there. But outside of that, I think it also has a lot of the government entities or the authority figures to also, push the help of the local people into that.
Yeah, it's giving them the knowledge. Like there's a study that came out last week. I think I share it on my Facebook page. In the US, they find a teaspoon of plastic in a human brain.
That accumulated over the years.
Accumulated. I mean, that is proof right there that when you put hot food in a plastic container, the plastic molecules go into your food and you get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that since I opened my company in 2012 is not new, and now there's studies to show it and to prove it.
But why don't the authorities come together and say, okay, we there's research out there, we are the nature of the Caribbean, why don't we look into these things? Do you think it's...
Why not other countries doing the same thing? That's a human issue. That's a worldwide issue for humans, and we everywhere. So why?
But should we worry about what is happening out there when it comes on to Dominica? Because Dominica promotes itself as a nature isle.
We should come together.
Yeah.
We should come all the countries together and say, Coca-Cola, we don't want no more plastic bottles. Stop it. We want to go back to glass or find something else, the biodegradable ones.
But are the biodegradable ones more expensive than the normal?
Well, it's a new product. All the biodegradable stuff, it's a new industry. Plastic is 100 years. We taking out from the soil. So it will be cheaper in some years, but we have to start somewhere.
I guess when it comes on to health, it'll be better to use the biodegradable stuff instead of the plastics.
Maybe. I don't want to have cancer. I don't want to spend my money on chemotherapy, so I'd rather spend my money on that.
It's interesting. It's very interesting in that regard right there. I mean, we can continue going on.
There's a lot.
We can continue going on. A lot in that regard, but I don't want to keep you too long. Where can people reach you? Where exactly are you located?
So I'm located in Roseau, but on the outside of town, where you can park easily, get fresh air from the valley.
Botanical gardens.
I'm at the back of the botanical garden at the intersection to Bath Estate.
Just by the bridge area.
By the bridge area where you have Alliance Française building. I'm in their courtyard there.
Okay. And what is the website that you where people can look more into your products?
So we have a website that has been launched last week, actually.
Last week? Wow. Okay.
So it's www.100gogreen.com.
100gogreen.com. Okay.
Yes.
That's good. Any last words you want to tell the people when it comes on to your products or just whatever is on your mind? What are your thoughts?
I want people to go greener in the whole aspect of their life. It's not only in the container you use in every day for your food. If you can go greener, you're going to feel, I think, better. And it's a long-time plan not to fall sick and spend your money on your health later on. We live on the nature aisle. The nature aisle has 50 shades of gray, of green. Use it, enjoy it. And make it profitable in any way you can. If you have plants, if you have a backyard, use it.